A very warm welcome to the channel, everyone, and firstly apologies for the lack of activity on the channel, but that's the reality. It's summer, I'm busy. Over the time I've noticed that there have been some new subscribers. Very warm welcome to you, as well as the support. It's hugely appreciated of the existing subscribers as well. So we're going to take the recent update of the LevelUp series. We're going to do a fairly decent flight for this. One where the 737 will definitely earn its keep. We're going to go from East Midlands down to Gran Canaria as TUI flight 7100. So as you can see, we're just setting things up. One thing I am curious about today is what would be our maximum takeoff weight based on the conditions. So one topic that a lot of you are familiar with is the max takeoff weight of an aircraft. That can vary depending upon the runway and the conditions that you've got. Let me explain. So, like all of Europe, it's incredibly warm at the moment, and these are the conditions for a late afternoon at East Midlands. So what I did, just went into Virtual Performance Tool, didn't put a weight in the takeoff weight. What that does is it computes something called the regulated takeoff weight. Let's better understand that as just the maximum takeoff weight. So based on those conditions, we could take off at 79.1 tonnes. So we've got the things like the bags and the fuel being loaded. I'm just going to calculate this based on 73.6 tonne, which is our estimated takeoff weight. And here we have it. So here we go, derating to 22k, assumed temp of 32 degrees, basing it on flat 1, gives us those speeds. Feast your eyes over here. Let's remind ourselves of how useful this figure is, VREF 40. So to work out our clean speed from there, we can do that. We're just going to add 70 to that. So 220 knots is when we can go fully flap up. So why does that stuff even matter? Well, let's say if we'd got some speed restrictions here on the SID, we'd know if we're able to go flap up with those speed restrictions or keep flaps extended. Today we're just going to go straight to 250 knots. There's a DHL 767 just landing. This is quite common for this time of evening. Okay, nearly half of the passengers on board, so they'll be squeezing all those purchases into the overhead lockers as we speak. Right, that's it for fuel, 13.7 tonnes. See the estimated fuel now for our arrival, 2.7 tonnes, and we've got reserves of 2.3. Alternate is Fuerteventura, so that page done. We're going to be going up to 330 initially. Here they are. So yeah, quite a common site. EMA, DHL's got a big operation there. You know, if I actually told you that I've been to Palma and back today, you'd wonder why I was on the sim, wouldn't you? Let's start the APU. So I'm going to put on one of these centre tank pumps and then start the APU, of course. Why the centre tank? Well, that's where we're going to burn fuel from first. APU is no exception. And with refueling complete, seatbelt sign can go on. I've tuned in the ILS frequency as well of East Midlands. That's the only sort of navigation aid that's shown on the SID chart, so hopefully that'll be alright and we won't get any spurious glide slope warnings as we rotate. That's where I had my rubbish today, on the max as a little cupboard there for the position I was working today. So big enough for your crew bottle of water, your little bag, and any purchases that you might make on board, of course. I'm talking about coffee. Completely unrelated. Here's a TUI going out. Do you see where talk's going? TAWK. In fact, even if it is WK, of course, it's probably just bottle matching to the best fit. One moment, let's see what that will be. Here we go, that's 7148. Off to Kos. Does it tell you the actual tail number? Oh, Tumu. They're on a max. I've just heard them close the main entry door as well. How rude. Suppose a cup of tea's out of the question then. The Calita Air is, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. That's off out. I did see that one earlier as well being loaded when we landed. Happy flightings. Another de Huller just there. Shall we go then? Go on then, let's do it. Stable. N1, Toga. Checked. Throttle hold. Rotating.
Positive rate.
Gear up. Enough speed. Oh. So I wasn't chasing the flight directors all the way there. I do need now to just put a bit of nose down. N1, climb 1. So I'm going to let the autopilot sort this mess out now that I've left it. Now remember what we were saying about the flap retraction speed? 220, that's what we said, wasn't it? So it's bang on there. Just want to make sure that we've got trend vectors positive, which it is, so flaps up. And flaps are up. Excellent. We are on our way. So pop the weather radar on, and we'll just do our after takeoff bits and bobs. Just this lot here mainly. Wing lights aren't on, that's fine, that's all good. So, I'll see you for our arrival into Gran Canaria.
That's fully stabilised. It's approach altitude set.
that might have been a bit of a floater. But anyway, we are down and a very nice flight. So just showing you some data that I captured during the flight. The blue line is the observed temperatures, so lowest temp -54, just to -53, so very constant there. And the orange line is the wind, represented as the headwind, tailwind component. So the highest headwind we had was 23 knots, coming down to a little tailwind of 12 knots, and then just a bit of a wiggle in between. So hopefully you've enjoyed this. It's great to be back making a video, especially of this newly released LevelUp aircraft, which I would definitely recommend you just go out and apply the update. It is free, of course. When I say apply the update, just follow all the instructions that LevelUp give you to successfully update your aircraft. And do like, subscribe, and I'll see you soon on a future video. Do take care. Bye bye.